She got rich selling the Nazis trash. It's not a metaphor. It's not a figure of speech. While World War II was destroying everything around her, cities, families, hopes, a woman with no money, no education, no husband, no one to help her, built a business from nothing, with what the soldiers threw away. And this is not a story about luck. It's a story about seeing what everyone else is ignoring and having the courage to act when no one else does. What did she see that no one else could see? What did she do differently when the entire world was paralyzed by fear? And most importantly, how can you use the same logic today, no matter what crisis you're facing? Stay until the end, because this story will change the way you look at money. But before we continue, if you're the kind of person who doesn't accept a crisis with arms crossed, hit the like button now and subscribe to the channel. We don't tell stories just for the sake of it. We pull a lesson from every single one, a real practical lesson you can use in your life today. Hit the bell to get the best videos and come with me. Winter 1941. Poland had been split in two years earlier, half to Hitler, half to Stalin. In the occupied cities, rationing was total. Sugar, flour, fabric, metal, everything controlled, everything scarce, everything expensive. Factories that made shoes now made combat boots. Seamstresses who made wedding dresses now sewed uniforms. And ordinary people, they survived. They waited. They prayed for it to end. But there was a woman in a small town in the Polish interior who didn't know how to just wait. Her name was Irene. She was 32 years old, had two young daughters, a husband who had been taken by the Germans months earlier, and exactly nothing in her pocket. No favorable conditions, no support network, no safety net. And yet she saw something no one around her was seeing. The world wasn't destroying wealth, it was just changing hands. And Irene decided she was going to be a pair of hands in that exchange. Every day, without fail, military convoys crossed the main street of Irene's city, and every day, without fail, they discarded what they no longer needed. Pieces of rusted metal, torn rolls of fabric, damaged packaging, slashed tires, broken wooden crates. To the soldiers, rubble. To the residents, another symbol of the occupation. To Irene, raw material. She started small. She collected the scraps of metal at night and sold them to a local blacksmith who was desperate for supplies. The blacksmith paid little, but it was money she didn't have the day before. Then came the fabric. She washed it, mended it, and resold it to seamstresses in the area who dressed entire families with what was, technically, military waste. Then the wooden crates became improvised furniture, the old tires, parts for carts and repairs. Within 6 months, Irene had a stable income in a city where most people didn't know if they'd have food tomorrow. The principle is identical today. Pallets discarded by factories are worth hundreds of dollars to carpenters and decorators. Broken electronics have parts that technicians pay well for. Construction waste becomes raw material for craftsmen. The right question isn't, does this have value? It's, who does this have value for? With the first coins she saved, Irene could have done the obvious: stockpile food, hide it under the mattress, wait for the war to end. She did the non-obvious. On the other side of the city, there was a market that had closed due to lack of business. The owner was desperate to rent out the warehouse in the back because no one in their right mind wanted to rent commercial space in wartime. Irene rented it for an insignificant amount and turned that space into the heart of her business. She began stocking volume, organizing supply, and with volume, she stopped selling to a single blacksmith and started supplying several. She stopped negotiating on goodwill and started setting prices. Irene had discovered in practice what the world's greatest investors teach to this day. In times of crisis, assets get cheap. Those who have the vision to buy them during the fall reap the profits in the recovery. Warren Buffett calls this being greedy when others are fearful. John Templeton became a billionaire buying stocks during World War II, literally at the same time Irene was renting that warehouse. She had never heard those names, but she was practicing exactly the same philosophy. Identify an asset undervalued by temporary instability, a property in a transitioning neighborhood, a stock in a sector going through a temporary dip, a skill the market hasn't priced yet. The right timing is to get in before the recovery, never after. Those who wait for safety before acting always pay full price. It wasn't a straight-line journey. Two neighbors reported Irene to the German authorities, accusing her of trading military material without authorization. The warehouse was inspected twice. She was humiliated, interrogated, threatened. She had done nothing illegal. Everything she sold had been discarded, abandoned, thrown away. There was no law prohibiting picking up what no one wanted, but the embarrassment was real. The fear was real. Her daughters cried at night, afraid of losing their mother, and she kept going, because she had understood something that most people only understand too late. The crisis is not the problem. The crisis is the filter. It separates those who act from those who wait, those who build from those who mourn. When the war ended in May 1945, Irene didn't start over from zero like everyone around her. She had a warehouse, she had suppliers, she had customers, she had a reputation built over 4 years of delivery. In a world that was rebuilding everything from scratch, she already had the bricks and knew exactly how to use them. Within 2 years after the war, she opened operations in 2 more cities. She employed 17 people. She sent both daughters to study in the capital. Build now the asset that will be worth the most when the storm passes. Knowledge, network, reputation, financial reserve. All of it becomes immensely more valuable in the recovery. Those who plant during the crisis harvest during the boom. Those who wait for the boom to start planting always arrive late. Irene never gave an interview, never wrote a book, never became the subject of a documentary. Her story was passed down by word of mouth for generations until it reached here. And the lesson she left behind is too simple for most people to believe it works. Money doesn't disappear in crises, it changes address, and you can be the new address. But to do that, you need to stop asking the wrong question. The wrong question is, how do I survive this? The right question is, what can I build with this? That shift in question was what separated Irene from all her neighbors. It's what separates those who build wealth from those who simply drift through life waiting for conditions to improve. Conditions are never perfect. They never were. They never will be. The question is always what you do with the conditions you have right now. If this story changed something in you, if you're leaving here with a different perspective on money, on crisis, on opportunity, then do one thing. Hit the like, 2 seconds, and help this channel reach more people who need this message. Subscribe and hit the bell, because in the next video, we're going to show one of the best turnaround stories from the last major economic crisis in the country. No inheritance, no elite university degree, no luck. Just the right question, asked at the right time. You don't want to miss this. Every generation faces its own war. Irene's had bombs and occupation. Yours has inflation, unemployment, instability, uncertainty. But the law is the same. It always has been. Those who see opportunity where others see chaos win. The question is not whether your opportunity exists. The question is whether you'll see it before someone else takes it. Now you have Irene's story with you. Use it. I'll see you in the next video.